It's 7 o'clock on Monday, November 20th, 2023, and we will call this regular scheduled meeting of the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
I'm here.
Commissioner Bauer,
Here.
Commissioner Bospis Rath,
Here.
Commissioner Habusta,
Here.
Commissioner Marble,
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
Okay, if everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Just want to make a couple comments. A couple of weeks ago in October, Commissioner Habusta and I had the opportunity to go to a Michigan Municipal League conference, and I just had a few comments on that. The MML is a statewide association that was founded back in 1899. That represents more than 500 full-service cities, villages, and urban townships, and provides services in everything from professional development to executive recruitment, insurance, and risk mitigation. City of Sault Ste. Marie has taken advantage of many services from MML in the past. They're dedicated to making Michigan's communities better by thoughtfully innovating programs, energetically connecting ideas and people, actively serving members with resources and services, and passionately inspiring positive change for Michigan's greatest centers of potential, its local communities. The MML and the communities it represents have spent more than a decade investing in placemaking strategies throughout the state, showing that we love where you live by lifting up what residents themselves love. All these efforts have emphasized the need for resilient local systems for communities that can learn, can innovate, can adapt, and can prosper even in the face of adversity. The League is now pulling together all the threads from their past work into the concept of building community wealth. This model balances economic prosperity, sense of place, natural assets, and cultural substance. It also considers the importance of the safety, health, and well-being of our residents, as well as the ongoing process of learning over time. This model takes into account the human experience in our Michigan communities, not just the physical assets. This work must be local for many reasons, most importantly because every community has a different context. In this year's convention, Commissioner Habusta and I experienced sessions on reconnecting to our sense of place. We enjoyed a keynote address from the author of a book called For the Love of Cities, The Love Affair Between People and Their Places. We had a great session on working through conflict in public conversations, had opportunities for learning on current topics such as council-manager relations, legislative updates, and updates from state and federal sources. I would like all the commission to set their calendars for March 12th through 13th, 2024. That's when Michigan Municipal League has a Capitol Conference in Lansing, and CapCon attendees will gain meaningful information and tangible tools to advocate, engage, and influence the legislative process to support and shape the future of our communities in Michigan. And at that conference, we always make appointments with all of our legislators and have in-person advocacy for the city of Sault Ste. Marie and surrounding area. So, Commissioner Boost, I don't know if you had anything to say about it, but it was a great conference this year, and it's really an inspiring new message that kind of amalgamates placemaking and a lot of other elements together.
I would just add that at that conference, our mayor was appointed the vice president of Michigan Municipal League, so I'm proud to have him in that role.
Thanks. No? Because I didn't tell you. Thank you. So just wanted to point out the opportunities, and we have used MML's guidance in the past for a lot of our strategies, and a lot of our strategies. So I've stalled as long as I could. We'll move into item number 5, which is Deputy City Manager, City Clerk, Robin Troyer, swearing the oath of office to Commissioner-elect, or Commissioner-appointed, Jay Gage.
Like number 3.
Yep, it is. Number 3. Yeah.
All right.
It's better every time.
I know, right? I do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of City Commissioner in and for the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
I do. Thanks.
Congratulations. I'll have you sign here.
Oh, yeah.
Any words before you officially take the dais?
Well, certainly, it's like I said last commission meeting. It's sad circumstances certainly to come back to the commission, but I am excited to continue the great work that you guys already have working here as we move the city forward. So thanks so much.
Welcome. So our next agenda item is number 6, selection of city commissioner seating. So before Commissioner Gage takes his seat, we'll go through the commissioners based on seniority. So number 1, Commissioner Bosphus Rath. Would you like to make a move to the vacated seat? Okay. Commissioner Bauer, number 2.
Yes, I would like my old chair back.
Okay. Welcome to the neighborhood. All right, so now we have a vacated seat, and we'll go back to Commissioner Bosphus Rath. Would you like to slide farther away from the city manager?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Rubenstein, number 3. Would you like to make any moves? Commissioner Marble?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Commissioner Hubusta? Do you like the anchor corner, or do you want to move over one? Is that the seat you had? All right. And last but not least, in seniority, Commissioner Gage, if you'd like to come up, and we affectionately made you had a professional name plaque made for you.
That sign is literally the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
All right, so we'll move on into the agenda. Item C is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make a comment on any of our scheduled agenda items this evening? So anybody? Sure. Your name and the item number. Jason McLeod. Oh, gotcha. Anybody else in the audience that would like to make any comments on any scheduled agenda items? All right, seeing none, we'll move into item D, which is the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of November 6, 2023. Item 2, acceptance of the Historical Development Commission meeting minutes of October 24, 2023. Item 3, acceptance of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of October 19, 2023. Item 4, acceptance of the Airport Advisory Board meeting minutes of October 12, 2023. Item 5, acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and TIFA 3 meeting minutes of October 10, 2023. Item 6, acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation meeting minutes of October 24, 2023. Item 7 is resignation of John McCullen from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective October 19, 2023. Item 8 is consideration of a bid award for firefighter health screenings. And item 9 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager. Would anybody like any of these items further explained or removed from the consent agenda for individual consideration? Seeing none. To my left, Commissioner Bauer.
So moved, we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. We approve the consent agenda. Any questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Item E, special orders of business. Number 1, City Manager Brian Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration is a request to vacate portions of alleyways over by West 6th Street, West 25th, and West 26th Avenue. This is the second time this item is coming to the commission. The first one was to schedule the public hearing, which is scheduled for tonight. Just as an FYI, there was a map in the agenda item from the last time we had this item. It did not carry over, but Bonnie, if you want to throw it up on the map or up on the screen really quick, just to kind of give you a visual what we're doing here. So this portion of the alleyway will be split and vacated, as well as this portion of the alleyway. And Mr. Freeman, correct me if I'm wrong, half of it will go to each abutting property owner, correct? Correct. So, without any more, if there's any other questions, we'd be happy to entertain them. Otherwise, we look for the public hearing and the consideration to approve the recommendation as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. So we will now open a public hearing on the vacation of the full length and width of the southerly 145 feet of West 6th Avenue line between Stoll's Addition Number 2, Block 4, and Stoll's Addition Block 3, together with the full length and width of the alley within Stoll's Addition Number 2, Block 4, with the retention of utility easements within the street and alley being vacated. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? So again, it's a public hearing on vacation of alley. Any comments, any questions? We will now close the public hearing. City Commission, any questions or comments? Commissioner Gage, why don't we start you right out?
So move the manager's recommendation.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the vacation. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Under E, special orders of business, number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to purchase some land currently owned by the city. There is a piece of property here. Bonnie, if you want to throw it back up on the screen really quick. This property right here is currently owned by Mobley Stowe. They are currently requesting to purchase this property north of them that is currently owned by the city. Kind of long story short, the Mobley Stowe family purchased this property to kind of make a little house for them to vacation in the Sioux. This piece of property does not allow for a residential development based on the size of it. It doesn't meet the setbacks and the minimum lot widths. They did reach out to the owner of this property just south of them. They did not hear anything back for them. So they reached out to the city to purchase this property to build a house on it. Typical policy is that when there's a property like this, it would be kind of a notice to the 2 abutting property owners to give them opportunity to do it. The property owner of Mobley and Stowe are requesting to waive that policy. If the property to the north of them did have an interest in it, and let's just say it was split down the middle, that still would not be sufficient room for them to build a house. So these 2 properties together would be enough room for them to build the house, and that is why they're requesting the waiver of the policy. So we have 2, thank you, Bonnie. We have 2 recommendations for this item. Motion to waive the adjoining owner notification requirement per the city's land sale policy and authorize the sale of the parcel for the amount of $1,500.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions for City Manager or Planning Director? Personally, I'm not really in favor of waiving a procedure that gives us transparency to a transaction. I do feel for the purchaser, but just seems a little sneaky not giving notification. Any other thoughts, comments? Commissioner Rubenstein?
I just have a question as what zoning variances would need to take place? It says numerous, but what does that kind of look like? Or a little more detail on it, I guess.
I will hand that one to Director Freeman.
Good evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. It could take place in a number of different ways. The zoning ordinance establishes minimum widths for a dwelling unit at 20 feet and minimum setback requirements. So the applicant, at their option, could choose to pursue a narrower house with compliant setbacks or a wider house with non-compliant setbacks.
Thank you.
Answer your question? All right, any other questions? Commissioner Bosworth.
So the people that want to buy the extra lot notified the owners to the south, but not the north, correct?
But they were, Bonnie, if you want to throw the map back up on the screen really quick. They didn't notify.
Or they
or
reached out?
They reached out to try to buy this property from them. I'm assuming this is a company. It could be a person's last name, I'm not sure, but Globus has a tax address of Minnesota.
Yeah, there's the Lee Globus, I believe, is an individual, and Lee has owned that property since, I believe, 1986, and has a mailing address in Minnesota.
So they did reach out to that property owner to try to buy it from them,
Okay,
but they just did not receive any word.
okay. I guess I'm also not really wanting to waive the notification myself. Just seems a little sneaky. If it were me, I would want to know, so that's just how I feel.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Habusta.
The recommended action is to waive. I'm just wondering if the city manager can explain why the administration is recommending to waive the notification.
So it's not necessarily administration's request. So this is the potential purchaser's request. It's not necessarily Kelly or I. Yes, they want to. And as being this is kind of a land sale type of issue, we brought both of those kind of points to the commission. I mean, we can go either way. We can handle it either way. The potential purchaser was requesting the waiver of the policy for the simple fact that they can't really build out without that other property. So, I mean, if the commission wants us to, we could send a letter to this Jones, it's not up there anymore, to the properties to the north and just say that there is an interest in somebody buying the city-owned land to the south of you. We can give them 30 days, and if we don't hear anything back from them, then we can bring it back to the commission and say, we tried, we didn't hear anything back. I believe the property up here that's under Jones is listed in Birch Run or Frankenmuth?
Birch Run.
Birch Run. So, I mean, we can send them a letter just to say that this is a thing. If you have no objections, let us know, or if you do have an objection, you need to let us know by such and such date and time. But that's the direction prerogative.
And that would be under alternative number 2 on alternatives that we could take. Any other questions, comments, or do we have a motion at all? Either a motion to change it or to accept it?
I guess-
Commissioner Gage.
I guess if you're looking for a motion, I would move that we direct staff to reach out to David and Nina Jones regarding their interest in Lot 26.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? And that motion passed unanimously. Thanks, Kelly. Under E, special orders of business, number 3, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is another request for a potential land sale. I'm going to pull up the map here. Bonnie, if you want to throw it up on the screen for me again, because I find it's a lot easier to talk about this. We have a request from the Basistas to purchase this piece of property here in the blue-yellow. The city owns this entire stretch, but they are requesting this portion of it. I think there's another 300 feet or so that will be retained by the city. This came into Community Development Director Freeman's office. He was running the process on this one. The process, or the price for this purchase is $7,000. With that, we look for a motion to approve the sale and the recommendation as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. Okay, Jason McLeod is the one that, if you'd like to come to the podium and state your name and residence for the record, please.
Sure. Jason McLeod. I live at 1914 Riverside, which is right down the road from this. And in 2019, I bought some city-owned properties across the street from me to be able to build a marina. And at the time, it was suggested that I buy this property here And I suggested that it wasn't the right time for that, considering everything that we had gotten, and it's been abandoned by the city for about 40 years. Not so much abandoned, just sitting there, not really doing anything. So over the course of the years, some of you I've talked to for years about it, some of you for months, and I don't think ever. But so it kind of goosed me on Friday when I got notification that it was coming up for sale, and I was interested in the entire piece for the full 440 feet, 450, I think. So that was just my concern, is that I didn't hear anything about that, and so that's just my area.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we have attached a copy of the City of Sault Ste. Marie land sale policy. Do we have any questions, comments from the commission? Commissioner Bastos-Rath.
So why are they not wanting to buy the whole, do we know why they don't want to do the whole piece of city-owned?
So the Basistas are here in the audience tonight, and I can direct that to them. I do know, I believe, I want to throw it back up there real quick. And Kelly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's an inlet here for the golf course, right, Kelly? You want to come up here really quick, Kelly? So there is an inlet on this property which feeds the irrigation system onto the golf course, correct?
Correct. I would refer to the Basistas for the
Right.
specific line of reasoning, but the north boundary of that coincides with the south boundary of an easement that the city granted to the golf course for their irrigation line that crosses under Riverside to access the river. So if the Basistas purchase went further north, it would include that piece of utility infrastructure on the land that they were purchasing, and perhaps they wish to avoid that
So
encumbrance.
that's half of the answer, and I guess if you would want the rest of it, I would ask that the Basistas come up and entertain that question. Thank you, Kelly.
Good evening, Linda. I guess I could wait till you get to the microphone.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Yeah, the north part of the property that we're requesting to buy is indeed the south line of the pump station that was easement that was granted to the golf course during the sale back when. And also, it really is just a natural dividing line, because then once after the pump station, the property really looks like it belongs to the condos. So that was just a natural, physical, good barrier. You know, if that was something that the city would want, but it just didn't make sense that maybe the condos would want the other part. And just the reasoning we're asking to purchase it now is we own the cottage at 1821 since 2014, and in 2017, 2018, we embarked on quite a significant project to shore up the cottage itself. It was sitting on an old crib that was falling into the river, so every year the previous owners, and then a few years that we owned it before our project took place, would have to just kind of shore up the posts every spring and level out the cottage. So in 2017, 2018, we did a project where we put in a new dock, shored up the cottage, separated it from the dock, and did all that work. And then there's just the property to the north of the cottage itself has seen a lot of erosion since the high water that we had a few years ago, and which is really now that the water is practically at low water, and now would be a good time to get in there and shore up the shoreline. And as long as we're going to apply for a permit to do ours, we'd like to just continue it to the north and have a continuous anchoring of the shoreline. There's been a lot of erosion, especially on the city's portion, where those pine trees are in jeopardy of just falling into the river. They're that close. In the past, there's been a lot of trees, smaller trees that have fallen in, but we'd like to just take care of the whole thing so we don't lose those trees and lose the enjoyment of that view of the property.
Thank you, Linda. I guess, question to the city manager. So we have the land sale policy in front of us now. We have a single person requesting purchase. It looks like we have two people that are interested in the property. Does that change the dynamic? Commissioner Busta?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering, city manager, can you tell me if that property is currently buildable at all? Or maybe that's a question for Director Freeman.
Kelly, why don't you come on up here?
I will
Sorry,
follow
again.
up.
Maybe just sit in the front until this one's done.
As it stands now, more likely than not, just because it's so shallow. Of course, building along the shoreline necessitates the state involvement and the Army Corps of Engineers. So more than likely, the property's best suited for open space.
What about market value? Would you say it would be little to no market value of that property?
That's a relative question. Had the city assessor place a value on the property as a whole, and she came back with $10,000. Just dividing off what the businesses are interested in, that number came to $7,000.
So according to the land sale policy, 1C, land which due to its location, configuration, size, has little or no market value as determined by the city commission may be quit claimed to an adjacent property owner at no cost. Is that correct?
Correct. The city commission does have that authority. However,
Okay.
if there's a different number, yeah, there's a lot of flexibility. built
A
into that.
property that has not seen market value and not had any action for several years, and now we have people coming forward and offering us
Correct.
money for that. Thank you.
Set?
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Rubenstein?
I guess for me, just coming off the previous agenda item and that kind of openness to transparency, you know, with the last one, if the Joneses were stepping up and saying, hey, we're interested in this too, it'd be a different story. And I kind of look at this the same way. If someone else is raising their hand, I feel like we need to at least look at that or entertain that. I don't know. City Manager Chapman, can you, again, touch on the city land sale policy and how that works now that there's someone else interested?
City manager?
So the policy, there are some exemptions in there. I guess it would be up to the commission and what their prerogative is. The commission can follow through on our recommendation based on the exemption within 1C, or if the commission would like, they can direct us to, market the property, or if there's another option that they would like us to pursue, they can direct us that way. So, I mean, it is kind of open. As Community Development Director Freeman said, the policy is kind of flexible in that sense, but, it's kind of however the commission would like us to handle it. So the recommendation was based on the exemption 1C, but if the commission, after the last item and hearing that there's other interest in it, we can put the property out to bid. The policy does cover the bidding process, to which we would have a minimum bid for acquisition. There'd be a bid process similar to what we do for purchasing. Sealed bids, they have to be opened on a certain date. We have done that process before, so I guess it's just kind of however the commission would like us to handle this one.
Answer your question? Yeah. Commissioner Basas-Rath and then Commissioner Busta.
To me, I feel like for transparency, if no one else wanted the property and everything was set out to the property owners around, then great. But now that there's 2 people that want it, maybe there's 3, I don't know. But I think sending it out as you would if you were going to vacate an alley, you need to send notice out. Same idea, I mean, this is a piece of property now that 2 people want, so send it out for a bid would be my idea, for transparency and all fairness.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Habusta.
Yes, City Manager, has the city received any other proposals to buy that property in the past 4 years, 5 years, since we've owned the property at all?
I can say for certain in the last 4 years that we have not, because I've only been here for 4 years. Director Freeman or Deputy Manager Troyer, ring any bells prior to that?
I don't have specific recollection of discussions with Mr. McLeod, but that would have been the only other party. Also, just as a point of history, we've owned this property, I believe, since 1981, and it came to the city as a tax reversion.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I tend to agree with Commissioner Bosphus-Rath. I think we could direct it back to the administration to put it out for bids. Or whatever your pleasure. So anybody have a motion they'd like to make, entertain? Commissioner Bosphus-Rath.
I'd like to make the motion to send it back for a bidding process.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
So motion passes 6-1. Moving on into item G, business items. Number 1, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration or discussion more than anything is the selection of commission appointments to the different boards and commissions. With the passing of Commissioner Miller, there's an opening now on the Airport Board, Dial-A-Ride Local Advisory Council, and Historical Development Commission. What we've done in the past is just seeing if there's any commissioners that want to take those ones. But I guess I would open it up to the commission that if there's any other kind of swapping that you would like to do, if you're currently on a board that maybe you can't make the time, or if there's something else that kind of piques your interest, you know, without getting too long into it, if there's any other switches that you guys would like to see, then you guys can discuss and appoint as necessary.
Guess I kind of stuck you with that one, eh? That's kind of my item.
That's okay. It's okay.
All right, so Commissioner Miller, as City Manager said, Commissioner Miller's boards were Airport Board, Dial-A-Ride Advisory Board, and Historical Development Commission. Are there any commissioners that are interested in any of those or changing out any of them? I guess if we get into a bidding war, then we'd go on seniority.
And just as FYI, Airport Advisory Board meets on the second Thursday of every month at 8 a.m. up at Sanderson Field. Dial-A-Ride Board, I don't believe has really met that often lately, quarterly. And then the Historical Development Commission, that one's been, they've been regular, but they've been kind of scheduling them as they go. So there's not necessarily a set date or time for those ones.
Perfect boards.
Perfect.
Commissioner Gage.
I just wanted to say, certainly, I think that given that I'm here for a short time, I will defer to the elected commissioners if you want any of those spots, but whatever isn't taken, I'm happy to fill the role. If I'm gonna take the job, I'll take whatever you guys don't want, so.
So let's go along the dais, I guess, and see if anybody has any, maybe scheduling conflicts with their existing boards or commissions. Any interest in any of the others that are vacated right now? Commissioner Habusta,
Yeah, I'm interested in the Historical Development Commission.
you're interested in that?
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Gage, is that anything you were gonna shed any tears over?
I defer to my friend Commissioner Habusta. I think he'll do a fine
Okay.
job.
Anybody else have any boards or commissions that they would like to maybe trade out or will the commissioner? Okay. Nope. Seeing none, looks like Commissioner Gage now has Airport Board. Be able to make that meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Dial-A-Ride Advisory Council?
You got it.
Okay. Everybody else is good? All right. So, Deputy City Manager, you got those notated?
Do you get a motion?
Perfect.
No.
Nope, those are mayor appointments. Moving on into G, business items, number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission considerations, request to enter into a contract with G&J Site Solutions for guardrail repairs at a couple different locations throughout the city. Long story short, with the last snow and some other traffic incidences, we had some guardrails be damaged through car crashes. The current contract we have before you is for $14,500. Some of the crashes will be, some of the expenses will be recouped through revenues from the insurance company or court restitution. G&J Site Solutions is the firm that we used for guardrail repairs earlier this year. When we bid it out, they were the only firm that gave us a bid. So to get this work done, we figured we'd stick with the company that was in town doing it. They've already said that they could be scheduled and get in and get the sites done relatively quickly within the next few weeks here. So we have 3 motions for this item. Motion to waive the competitive bid process. Motion to award a contract to G&J Site Solutions not to exceed $14,455. And motion to increase the budget for major streets for guardrail repairs in the amount of $14,500.
Thank you, City Manager. Does anybody have any questions on these items? Commissioner Rubenstein, would you like to? No, sorry, Commissioner Gage.
Your Honor, I think this is a good thing, and I'm happy to support it, though I will mention that I am tempted, in honor of late Commissioner Miller, to point out that these are a single source, or sole source bid. I don't think that should dissuade us. I think they're gonna do great work, but just in his memory, I thought it should at least be mentioned, so.
And we'll see how the vote goes. Commissioner Rubenstein.
Motion to waive the competitive bid process.
Support.
Been moved and supported to waive the competitive bid process. Guess we better do a roll call on this one so Commissioner Gage can get his word in.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Baspas Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Habusta,
Yes.
Commissioner Marble,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Yes.
There we go. Commissioner, passed unanimously. Commissioner Rubenstein.
Motion to award contract with G&J Site Solutions not to exceed $14,455.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Rubenstein, number 3.
Motion to increase the budget for major streets for guardrail repairs in the amount of $14,500.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Under item G, business items, number 3, City Manager Chapman.
Oh, that's me,
Sorry.
sorry.
Want me to slow it down?
I thought you had, I thought you had one more motion, sorry. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for consideration is a request to award a purchase and contract to Roy Electric in the amount of $78,222 for a new generator at the 14th Street Booster Station. So, kind of long story short on this one, the Booster Street Station, if you guys aren't aware of that, that's what helps lift the drinking water up gravity to push it out into the system. This is an item that has been identified as needing repair and is a priority within our sanitary survey, which is not wastewater sanitary, it is drinking water sanitary. 2 motions with this item. Motion to amend the budget with $63,300 coming from the water capital reserves, and a motion to award the bid to Roy Electric in the amount of $78,220 to purchase and install the generator and automatic transfer switch at the 14th Street Booster Station.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions or comments on this item? Commissioner Baspas Rath.
It's just nice to see a local bid out there for Roy Electric, so that's nice to see.
Good comment. Anybody else? Commissioner Gage.
I'll just add briefly that I had the pleasure, I was going to bring it up at Commissioner comments, this seems like a good time, to go on new commission orientation on Friday, met with Director Tews and Brian Masterson over the wastewater treatment plant, and I appreciate their time, and I think this is a great project, and certainly to see the progress they're making to keep us in the right spot is wonderful, so I'm happy to support this, so.
Commissioner Marble, would you like to make the motion, or two separate motions?
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
not a
Mayor.
sole source.
I thought Jody made the motion. I would have made the motion, but.
Motion to amend the 14th Street Booster Station Generation Project budget by $63,300 with funding to come from the Water Capital Reserves.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Number 2, Commissioner Marble.
Thank you. Motion to award the bid by Roy Electric in the amount of $78,220 to purchase and install a generator and automatic transfer switch at the 14th Street Booster Station.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. Moving on into business items number 4. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to approve addendum number 2 with Tri-Me Environmental Engineering for services related to the Carbide Brownfield grant that we received, which will currently in the process of taking out all the dirt and the impacted soil out on the Carbide dock. This is part of our $1 million grant we received from Brownfield. Per Eagle, we do have to have a approved contractor to represent the city for this process. They're the ones that are going to handle a lot of the work, the paperwork and the workflow processes for this. We did have a smaller contract in place with them for about $3,800. This will add on to the work now that the project has been awarded, as they will have to administer the project for us. So there's a motion to approve Tri-Me Environmental Engineering Contract Addendum number 2 to add $3,000 per the Eagle Brownfield grant. All costs associated with this item will be covered within the $1 million Brownfield grant.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions on this item? Commissioner, go to the other side again. Commissioner Busta, would you like to make
Sure.
a motion?
Motion to approve Tri-Media Environmental and Engineering Contract Addendum number 2 to add $30,000 per Eagle Brownfield grant.
Support.
Has been
Give that
moved
to
and
Scott.
supported. Pardon?
Said you can give that one to Scott.
Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Moving on, G, business items number 5, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a memorandum of understanding between the city and the Outhouse Consortium for the development of an Ashman Creek Trail System Development Plan. With us tonight, we have Ken and Wilda Hopper. They can kind of go over the project a little bit more in detail if you would like. Kind of with this item, what we did was we put together an MOU between the city and the Outhouse Consortium. The Outhouse Consortium requested $30,000 through the SEAL Operating Fund in order to put together an Ashman Creek Trail System Development Plan. The commission will recall that that was kind of brought to the commission earlier this summer. They gave some high-level concepts over it. The commission gave their blessing to move forward with it. This is kind of that next step here. So the MOU that's presented to the commission kind of outlines how the program will work. Outhouse Consortium will work with their chosen consultant. They will pay for it, and then the city will reimburse them. So kind of like a reimbursement grant coming from the SEAL Operating Fund. So we have 2 motions with this one. Motion to move forward with the Ashman Creek Trail System Development, authorize the city manager to finalize the MOU, as well as motion to establish a project budget of $30,000 from SEAL Operating for the Ashman Creek Trail System Development to reimburse project costs to Outhouse Consortium.
Thank you, City Manager. Are there any questions, comments? Commissioner Boswell-Rath?
You know I'm going to comment on this one. I'm so excited about this, and you guys have done a phenomenal job. So kudos to you. I cannot wait to see this all take place. You've really set the bar on outdoor activity, and I'm so excited. So thank you.
Commissioner Habusta.
Yeah, just a couple questions, actually. First of all, when we talk about this $30,000 in the plan, is the plan then approved by the city, or how does that work? Is that their plan that we're funding, or is it a city-approved plan, and how does that fit within the master recreation plan?
So I would say it's, the work with the Outhouse Consortium They will work to develop the plan. They'll be the ones working with the contractors. It'll be their plan. There will be an opportunity for them to bring the plan to the commission and give an approval in that sense, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily our plan. This is a good opportunity because we have a group of individuals that have a vision, they want to push forward with this particular project, so allow them to have some ownership in it. The Parks and Rec Master Plan does have some language and some ideas in there for Ashman Creek. A lot of it is based on the work that the Outhouse Consortium and some of the meetings that they had with the consultant that created that master plan for us. So a project like this does align with our Parks and Rec Master Plan.
I guess my concern, and thank you for that answer, I guess my concern would be, and in this case, I'm not worried about it, but I'm a little bit hesitant to give $30,000 to a plan that we haven't seen, and we have no ownership of whether, how that's gonna look, what it's gonna do. I mean, if this wasn't people that I know and trusted, if this was other people coming, how would we, I just struggle with funding $30,000 for a plan that I have not seen or know exactly what that will look like, and that's not approved by the city.
And, you know, I guess within the MOU too, so there's still some opportunities to put some comments in there. We can put in some touch bases, maybe when they get 50% done, we can have them come to the commission, give an update on the plans. But, you know, we could also put in there, because it is a reimbursement, so we're not giving them $30,000 out the gate. So let's even say they start down this road, I know they're not gonna do this, but just hypothetically, let's just say they went and moved out into a different state. We're still not out anything, you know, maybe we try to find some new people to take over the project. But there's probably some other verbiage that we could include into the MOU to address any of those concerns. And I guess, you know, moving forward, if it's a concern with a future request and not necessarily a concern with this, I would say, again, the MOU that we use for this one could be a base template moving forward. So if there are those kind of concerns, we could still bake them into the MOUs as would be appropriate moving forward.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, I concur that the process has to be firmed up. I think more so than it is right now. That's where I'm concerned, is getting back to the process and making sure it's a process that truly has the city protected. Thank you.
Commissioner Marble.
I would just like to thank you guys for all your time and hard work that you've put into this. I fully support this. I think it's going to be a great thing for our city, and I'm very, very proud to say I'm supporting.
Anybody else? Kendra Wilda, would you like to make any comments at all, or you? I know that you weren't prepared for them, but you're usually not shy. Come on up to the microphone, Ken. Okay. Yeah, come up to the podium if you would, please, and just give us your name. Appreciate it.
First of all, thank you all for
Is the mic on?
Is mine on?
Is there a little green light on there?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, perfect.
Right. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to even be here and considering this. We appreciate that. This has been a process. We are in the works to speak to the plan and to money. We've already outlaid $10,000 on design work into this plan. Some of the reasons we're not coming forward with it is there are some private property issues we're trying to work through, and we don't inherently want to make those outwardly public at the moment until we resolve some of those. But privately, if you guys would like to speak to us, where I'm not disclosing it to a public board, we do have some plans I would be happy to show each and every one of you individually. Otherwise, I guess, are there specific questions you're looking for to be answered?
No, we're just kind of a general.
Okay, so currently
Concept,
right now,
yeah.
it's about 10 miles of trails in the design. I believe it's about 3 miles of what would be dedicated biking trails. The rest would be multi-use trails. I think it's about 4 miles of just dedicated walking, right? And the others would be mixture, biking, hike, or walking. trails. The walking trails will also be available in the winter, open to snowshoeing and possibly some biking opportunities in the winter, but we're honestly pretty early in that to know if that's possible or not. Overall, we're working with a group called Rock Solid currently. They're a national firm who specializes in this area. I don't know if you've spent any time up in the Copper Harbor area, but a lot of the biking trails and hiking and biking developments up there has been designed and built by this group. I guess that's all I have at the moment, unless there's specific questions.
Thank you. Anybody? Commissioner Bosworth-Rath?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you could talk a little bit more about that company, it might.
Rock Solid, like I said,
Thank
they're a
you.
national company. They're out of the town Walmart's from. Unfortunately, that's eluding me at the moment, other than it's the town that Walmart's from.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
So they have a office in Copper Harbor. That's how they ended up working in the area of Michigan. That's how we got introduced to them. They have a lot of experience in Copper Harbor and throughout the country. Bentonville. Is it Bentonville? Sorry. Bentonville. And a lot of work in Bentonville. As a company, they've put down hundreds, if even thousands of miles already with different nonprofit groups, different municipalities. So they are very used to working through the bidding process and all this. Currently, we hired them because it was a great opportunity to get them. As a national firm with experience, they came to, Ken and Wilda bumped into them, I believe, at their shop, and we took advantage of that opportunity and kind of went down that. Like I said, we've already retained them for the initial design work, and that is hardly set in stone. I mean, obviously design work is design work, especially on a project like this. You're gonna draw something out, they're gonna come in with the engineers, and they're gonna say, no, it's gotta go that way. And we're perfectly aware of that, but right now, that's kind of what we're looking for. We're not looking for reimbursement for what we spent. We're looking for additional money to continue the design, and the next stage is engineering, which is what we had projected via the company's estimates is about $30,000. So the engineering and design work after that point will be, and that may be less than that. We don't have an exact quote on that, to be honest, but that will be at the point where we can start physically developing and hopefully applying for larger scale grants, which you'll be hearing from us for. If we can get some of them. There was mention of the fact that it was in the Master Rec Plan, which has the opportunity to be open for DNR trust fund funding, which would be hopefully a fantastic funding source for that. But again, that would be that's the word I'm looking for. With your approval.
Thank you. Commissioner
Does that
Gage.
answer your question?
Yeah. So the city manager and I had opportunity like 2 months ago. There was a group of DNR folks, and we both went for our day jobs, and we saw some of the work that you guys have already done. Was that funded by the trust fund, or how was that funded? And I mean,
That
is
was
that
done
kind of
by
just
volunteer work and fundraising.
okay?
So the largest infrastructural project of that was the bridge component that's in, and that was funded by donors and fundraising, and it was in conjunction with a local Boy Scout, actually.
Yeah.
It was his Eagle Scout project to kind of design and go through the engineering, and he worked with the Corps to get some engineering work done and approvals and such, and then it was all
And not to
fundraising.
complain, but I already did complain to Ken. That bridge gave me a splinter, so with that, I'm
Well, I have
having a
Eagle
hard
Scout's
time
phone
with this
number
one.
if you
So
need
I'm just saying, you know.
Anybody else? Commissioner Habusta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you tell me then, what do you anticipate is the total budget of the project?
The overall cost of the project, I mean, and these are very, very early numbers. I can't guarantee anything that I say on that. The engineering and design are projected to be about $45,000.
Okay.
The overall construction phase of the project, it's in the $300,000 to $500,000 range, and depending upon number of bridges and different fill-in areas, could swing drastically. That being said, I mean, we're not looking for the city to fund 100% of this project. We don't want that. We want it to be a joint organization between donors and hopefully grantors and other organizations. But, I mean, you're a large partner, you're a large prospective partner in this, and that a lot of the land we're looking for, emphasis to the MOU here, is on city land. And it's not just city land. Like I said, there are some private landowners. There's Little Traverse Conservancy and a few others that we're working on trying to draw together for this agreement. But I would say, as an estimate for construction, realistically, probably in the $500,000 range.
Thank you. And again, I would just want to just express that as a recreation professional, I'm very much in favor of recreation projects and doing things like this within our community. I recognize the benefits that they provide to our community. I am concerned a little bit about this dollar amount and the fact that the process has not been shored up. In fact, the past precedents of the process, we had a major recreation project that was just recently completed in our community that received no funding from the CO fund, even though they came out and it's going to do great things in our community as well. So I would love for us to firm up the process when it comes to these type of things. But moving forward, I do think this is a great project, though, and we'll support it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Awesome project, great collaboration. I see Linda Hoth nodding her head, so that means we're all involved. The recommended action does give the city manager the authority to execute and finalize the final MOU. So Commissioner Boost, any of your questions or thoughts? And as city manager mentioned, maybe some milestones could be added to it. So if we go with the recommended action, it would give city manager the opportunity to put some of those safeguards in there. So anybody that would like to make, there's two motions. Who would like to, Commissioner Bosphus-Rath?
Motion to move forward with the Ashman Creek Trail System development and authorize the city manager to finalize and execute the MOU with Outhouse Consortium.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Motion number 2, Commissioner Bosphus-Rath.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to establish a project budget of $30,000 from the SEAL Operating Fund for the Ashman Creek Trail System development to reimburse project costs to Outhouse Consortium.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. Thank you. G, business items number 6, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last but not least, tonight for commission consideration is a review and approval of budget amendments related to our first quarter budget review ending September 30th, 2023. Within your agenda item is a breakdown of all the different budgets, currently where they're at, any proposed changes, as well as the reasons as written by Finance Director Collins and her Assistant Director, Callie Perrin, not Brosco, Perrin. All the information you guys need is kind of in this item. It's a long memo. If there's any questions the commission has, we're more than happy to entertain them. Otherwise, we look for a motion to approve the budget amendments or budget revisions as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions for the City Manager or Finance Director Collins? Commissioner Gage.
The only comment I would make is that though I've been gone for a while, it's good to see that Kristen is still very thorough. So some things don't change, and her thoroughness, it's good that it still remains. So with that,
Did you read it?
What's that?
Did you read it?
I did. I read
Okay.
the whole thing. Read everything.
I just wanted to make sure.
Every dang part of it. It took a while. It was not short, but so it's just one motion, right? Just so move the manager's recommendation.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Yep.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any commissioners? Sure, Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, just on the $485,000, $800 increase to the sewer and water fund. Am I to understand? What's that?
Did you, Mike?
Mike.
Sorry, thanks. I didn't know I needed one. Anyway, the $485,800 increase to the sewer and water fund, am I to understand that the city has received extra revenue due to the replacement of the water meters being more accurate? Is that true?
Director Collins, you want to take that one?
Good evening, Kristen.
Hello. Good evening. Yes, that is a true statement. the meters are reading more accurately. Old meters tend to read a lower number because instead of jumping, they stop. So we were underbilling to a certain extent, and there were many reasons to make this change with the meter upgrade, but that is significant dollars.
Thanks. So my second question then is that would that not mean then that we could conceivably, because I don't want to, put you on the spot, that we could conceivably see lower water rates in the near future due to that happening?
My thought is that it would be a slowdown of increase. I wouldn't say we decrease, but it definitely wouldn't have to, we won't project as much of a rate increase as we would have. We do have major projects coming up. We have capital improvements. We will have a local share needed for some of the big projects coming up. And we have depleted our reserves quite extensively. I mean, if I were to look over time, they have really gone down with the last few years of capital upgrades that we've done at the various plants and also what's to come. So we wouldn't want to say we will decrease water rates. What we would say is this helps to shore up
But
what
it's
we
good
have
news,
now.
though.
It's very good news.
And just,
Awesome, thank you.
just real quick too, Chris, I don't know how the new meters impacted, but historically usage within the city has been kind of on a downward slope as well, correct?
Yes, the average over a long period of time is about 1.45% decrease each year. It still went down 0.45 decrease. So we are seeing still a gradual drop off, even though we're billing more accurately. And that's part of the reason rates have to increase, because all of us, as we change out our toilets and whatever, we're using less water. So hopefully that offsets some of our bills.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kristen.
Any other questions on the budget comparison amendment to budget? So it has been moved and supported. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you very much, Kristen. Very thorough report, as always. And good news, pretty much across the board, as far as excluding the water rates, is still good news across the board. Now for the bad news, city manager announcements and updates. Item H.
But I'm Rodney Dangerfield. All right, couple updates for the commission. Just as an FYI, compost pile, we talked about this last meeting. Compost is officially closing November 22nd, so that's Wednesday of this week. So get your stuff in there. Leaf pickup is currently going at the time of this meeting, but if we get a ton of snow tomorrow into Wednesday, maybe it's not, but it is right now. If anybody's leaves have not been picked up, make sure to call DPW. We're getting out of the west side of the city and more into the central east side of the neighborhoods in those areas. So we are still moving forward with that. Parade of Lights, just as a reminder for the commission, November 24th. Lineup is at 6 o'clock behind Parker's. We do have the DPW float decked out and decorated for everybody. You are more than welcome to bring some of your family members. Yeah, so that's Friday. Don't forget about that. Our curling program at the Polar has been doing really well lately. We just kind of want to brag about that a little bit. We sent the email to the commission. We've got 45 to 50 participants within the curling program right now. We took a risk last year in leasing out some stones and brooms for the curling program, and it's really kind of just jumped up, and it became this really neat thing. I mean, we've got open curling programs that are getting a good attendance to it. Like I said, our first stab at a curling club competition system. He's got 45 to 50 people in it. It's being very well received. We're very positive about it right now. So just big kudos out to the staff for leading that project for us. A couple of things that I don't have on my predetermined list for you here that kind of came up. Bonnie, if you'd like to throw it up on my screen for me here. This is Director Two's new water tower design competition. He's super excited for this one. Within the CIP program, we're looking to paint up which street is it? Fourth Avenue water tower. There have been some communities that have done these type of programs. They've gotten some really neat designs. They've gotten some pretty intricate designs. But we would like to see what the community's got for this one. We would bid it out kind of with two styles, one with the winning competition and one just with a basic scheme, just in case something comes up too intricate and it really blows up the cost. So we're looking forward to that program. Just as an FYI, I mean, we've seen some communities that have 2 water towers in their community, and they got one red that says hot, and they got one blue that says cold. So, I mean, we're looking for something fun, something to kind of highlight the community here. Hot and cold probably doesn't highlight the community, but we're looking for something fun. So, so we're going to be putting that on Facebook here soon. Just as a FYI as well, Commissioner Rubenstein has been kind of asking about it for a little bit. We have been working on some changes to the parking system. We're starting to identify a couple of different surveys that we're looking at to kick out. We will be involving some of the community or the downtown businesses, the Downtown Development Association, and some other stakeholders as we review that. But the first step we're taking is kind of crafting out some surveys. We'll send it out to the commission to get your eyes on it, as well as the DDA before we send them out, just to kind of gather different perspectives and different uses within the parking system within the downtown. So we'll keep you guys up to date as we move on that. But other than that,
Any,
I have to mention the garbage survey. I cannot forget the garbage survey. As Deputy Manager Troyer just reminded me, we do have a current survey out there right now that is on our social media. Gotta hide that messages. Bonnie, you want to throw it up on this thing for us here? So on the city's Facebook page, just a couple of posts down, there's a survey for refuse and recycling within the community. The commission's aware that there's an opportunity for maybe change some of the pickup scheme within the refuse contract that we currently have. If you want to click on the link within it, it's a real short survey, about 8, 9, 10 questions there. Just take a few seconds there, but real important to get everybody's feedback from the community on this one, as that could help steer some decisions with the refuse and recycling system moving forward. So that is on the Facebook. Make sure you participate in it and let your digital voice be heard through our digital survey. So
I've already voted 200 times.
I can tell. Because we have 201 comments and one is me, so.
Any questions for the city manager on topics? So leaf pickup, you said, is
Still going till the snow.
still
falls.
going.
It'll go, and it's kind of it's still kind of the line, is that we'll go till the snow flies. And the forecast does have a little bit of snow coming in tomorrow into Wednesday, maybe 3 to 6 inches. That may hamper it a little bit, but as long as weather is like it is today, we will still be out picking it up so residents can put them up there. And again, we've made a couple of passes throughout the community, so if you haven't been picked up yet, or if you went out in your neighborhood and you saw the leafer moving out of your neighborhood as you were raking them, give DPW a call and they'll kind of put it on their come back and do list. But go ahead.
Did have a comment from a resident of Minneapolis, said thank you very much for picking up all of their leaves on that busy street. So take the good comments when you can get them, because we usually get a lot of negative comments about leaf pickup, just because you can't hit them all at once.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the time the leaves come, the snow comes. So.
Right. So good job. Any other comments, questions? We will move on into item I, which is matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time besides Linda Hoth? Yeah, come on up, Linda. Glad to have you here. Welcome, Linda. Good to see you.
It's nice to be here. Mayor, commissioners, city manager, deputy city manager. I sent you 2 pictures too, by the way. Yeah, I sent them to you too. Welcome aboard, Jay. Well, first I want to say Outhouse Consortium. The Sioux Convention and Visitors Bureau, we have been a partner since the concept with Ken and Wilda out at Pickles. I can remember is my meeting with Pickles Restaurant. That's all I can remember. It was like a go, go, go. And they've gone ever since. And I want to let you know, we commit to them every year. So you need to know that too. It's not just the city committing, it's the community committing. But that's not the reason I'm here. I'm just happy to be here to support them. A week ago last Friday, I have to say we had a great evening. I want to thank Ray in Sioux Brewing. I wanted to be able to thank, of course, the ASH, Sioux Area Foundation for Education, Sioux Brewing, Downtown Sault Ste. Marie, and of course, Convention and Visitors Bureau. So all of us came together in our downtown. We're looking at the future. It's a beginning for all of us. You know, to me, the heart and soul of a city is its downtown. You guys heard me say this the other night. And to me, it's one of the most important things that we do in this community is make our downtown open for people to come in. So I just wanted to give you I want to be completely open and let you know that we did so far raise $6,425. And I have more commitments coming in, and we're not going to quit here. So, and I do know that we're committing money to the Outhouse Consortium too, so that they'll have money to get things started and going and pay for the things that they have to be. So it's just a continuous working on it. So it was great. And I have to say, it was the most awesome evening. I had the best time ever. And it was so wonderful to see the young people out. Young people that came out, new business owners, people coming out and wanting to be a part of it. So it was a great, great evening. Shelley Morley, Stephanie Sprecher. I mean, what great partners we have. So I just needed you to know that we're not quitting. We're moving forward. Thank God to my board of directors who are awesome about getting the community rebuilt and wanting to see more and to see us go forward. So thank you guys for all your support, because without your support, we can't do a lot of things too. And Ray, no matter what you say, your food was awesome. Well, he said to me the other night, here's what he said to me. He said to me, well, you wouldn't tell me anyway. And
Well, that is what I did say.
You
even
did
if
say
you
that.
didn't like it, you wouldn't tell me. And you know that's true.
Yeah. No, I would tell you. I would tell you, only I wouldn't tell you in front of a whole bunch of
what's not to
people.
like?
On TV.
Now you're on TV. But Ray, it was great. It was a great evening. Great people to be around. I was just so pumped at all the young people that showed up. It was nice to see young people wanting to be a part of it, you know, because, anybody under 60 is young to me, so. Thank you all.
I'm still young, yeah.
I have to say that because of Don. Yeah. But thank you all very much.
Thank you, Linda, for all you do. Your enthusiasm certainly is infectious. Anybody else in the audience that has any comments at this time? All right, we'll move into item J, which is matters presented by the City Commission. City Commissioners. Commissioner Rubenstein.
Just as a reminder and to get confirmation from the city manager, the next commission meeting is up at Lake State at the library, correct?
Correct.
So yes, please join us. It should be good, and we're expecting a good turnout.
Take me even longer to get there.
We'll print out a Google map for you.
MapQuest.
Yeah. Commissioner Gage.
I know I mentioned it before, but I just want to say thank you again to City Manager Brian Chapman for being so gracious last Friday, doing new commission orientation. He spent the full 8:30 to 5 o'clock with me, running me around, and surprisingly teaching me quite a few things about the great things that have been going on in the community. So thank you for taking the time, and certainly all the department heads I was able to touch base with and see and that kind of thing. We didn't get all of them because, God bless us, we live in the Upper Peninsula, and some of them love to live here and go hunt deer. So those I didn't get a chance to chat with, I'm going to make my rounds and come say hi to you as well. But thank you again. It was really appreciated.
said it took twice the normal time. So certainly on behalf of the city of Sault Ste. Marie, happy Thanksgiving to our great community. So Commissioner Bauer.
Your Honor, I move that we adjourn this meeting.